All right, guys. So we're in. Here we are, week 11. The time is getting late. The hopes are drawing thin. The losses hurt more, and the wins are even more glorious than they've ever been all year long. Especially for that, knot of folks right in the middle of the league that's just scrapping and clawing every single week, try to find their way to back into one of those last playoff spots. I mean, it's getting thick in there. It's getting thick in the swamp.
What's that like, boys?
I mean, it felt good this week for me. So
I'll tell you what it's like. Yeah. I was in the 6th seed before this last week, and I got a win. And I'm in the 6th seed this week. So,
so nothing changed.
Yeah, so just still nervous. That's what it feels like. It feels like nerves.
But you did sink down farther. Some people in the swamp are already dead, man. You know what I mean? At least you're still floating. Technically you're kind of like you got one foot on the bank. Like you're almost out, but you still got to put it together,
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about like news around the league, I mean, I think the week started off hot with fantasy implications on Thursday night. I mean, good God, the injury fears. I mean, they struck home for me, brutally so. Losing Mark Andrews, probably for the fantasy season. He might be able to come back, sounds like, for Baltimore for the playoff run, which is good for them.
Up for you.
Sucks for me. Yeah, so, that's just something we deal with. I've been lucky this year. I haven't had anybody go down for the year yet. Other people have had that, It happens to everybody. Almost everybody deals with that at some point during the year. It is what it is. We'll keep it moving. We got plans. Joe Burrow, I hate watching the NFL without Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a guy that I love to watch. He's always a fun dude, very entertaining.
No, Patrick's lost.
Damn.
Nope, you guys were froze for me, so I just kept plowing ahead. So we're good. I was just talking about how entertaining Joe Burrow was, and how it sucks when he's not in the league, and he's out for the season. A lot of injuries in Joe Burrow's young career. You hope that doesn't shorten the lifespan of it because he's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's one of the few like big personalities in the league that draws people.
Yeah, it's like his style too, man. I like what he brings to the table. Joe Cool, the whole thing, the turtlenecks, the sunglasses, the chain. It's fun,
Yeah. What if we Andrew Luckett? What if he just calls it one day because I can't. It's too much.
I mean, the only thing that I would think would prevent that is that Joe Burrow seems like in Cincinnati, he actually has a good organization around him. Whereas in Indianapolis, I don't know if that's the case, man. They seem not to really care about the overall. And like another example just today, right? Okay, so speaking of Indianapolis, Shaq Leonard, all-pro linebacker, has been a great player for them for a long time. And it's just been kind of underperforming because he's been coming back from injuries. They just cut him. Let's cut him. See you later. Week 11. Get out of here. You're gone. You don't even get to finish the season on the team. See you, bud. Like, that's the type of shit they do in Indianapolis. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of where some of the problems come from is that it comes down from the top, and we all know who that comes from.
Well, and Burrow's been so close to the top of the mountain like multiple years too. That's got to be extra hard to walk away when you were just right around the corner from a championship.
Well, yeah, that too. Like I don't see him walking away when they have such a good team still too. What sucks too though for the Bengals is like they were kind of putting it together lately. Like they've lost some close games here or there in recent weeks, but they were building for a tear and they were going to head into the playoffs. They were going to be
really we said it on this podcast.
Yeah,
they looked like all right. Here is what this team is going to be at the end of the season. Now it's all over.
Yeah, I mean. They could maybe find a way to back their way into the playoffs, but they're in one of the toughest divisions in the league, man.
Doesn't matter.
Tough to win games.
With Joe Cool, they're a Super Bowl contender, even with a 500 record. Without him, who cares if you get the last spot in the playoffs? That's such a little victory. Fans don't care about that.
No. Yep. And they know they're not going to win. They know they're not going to beat Mahomes. They're not going to beat Lamar. They're not going to beat any of the good quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was a big one to start the week off. I mean, if we're talking other news, I mean, we had some other close games. Detroit found a way to win against Chicago. when it looked like they were going to go down. Would have been nice to see them lose one. Packers still kind of holding on to a little bit of hope. They've been playing better.
No, you're not.
Little bit of hope. They're not
No,
going to win
you're
the division.
not.
They're not going to win the division, but we're holding on to a little bit of hope that they put a run together here. Maybe a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
Can we edit that part out?
Yeah, no, because I'm
We should.
So we're going to keep it in. If anything, I'll insert more of a piece about why Green Bay is going to the playoffs. Anyway,
Your piece.
I don't really got anything else major right now other than it felt good to beat the Chargers. It did.
Brandon Staley's got to go, right?
He's got to go, man.
He's got to go.
They're 4-6 now? Or are they 4-7? I mean, to have
the Chargers, that you said 4-6, same record as the Packers.
Yeah. Okay. So look at our roster. Look at the Chargers roster. We have the same record. That ain't right. Okay.
You're right. It ain't.
I'm a Packers fan.
Well, I think Matt LaFleur is a good coach. So, what if he was in LA coaching Justin Herbert? They'd be like a 10-win team.
He's an LA boy too. Came out of McVay's squad out there. So maybe I don't know.
Brad Staley got to go.
He's got to go. Let Kellen Moore have a crack at it. Let me see what he's got. I don't know if Kellen Moore's got the right personality to be the hard driving coach, but the movement in the league is towards all these player coaches now. That's what all the guys want to play for.
Bieniemy.
Oh yeah,
we did this exact same circle last week. So
he's taking Washington's job, man.
I thought he was taking Atlanta's job.
Either any job, get that man a head coaching job. It's time, But anyway, he will. I would be shocked if he went another year without doing it, especially after what he's done with Sam Howell. But anyway, we should keep it moving. We have some time obligations. So
how about the Monday night matchup though? Chiefs Eagles. We got to touch on that.
Yeah,
right?
we got to touch on that. What a game, man! What a game. The Chiefs. The Chiefs looks like they were about to steamroll there. Their defense is playing great. They're getting sacks left and right. Eagles can't do shit on offense. And then second half, they come out and Pat Mahomes was let down. I mean, good God.
100%. Even by
what do you got to
Travis
do
Kelce
to win a game?
Yeah,
that bomb they had at the end of the game, Valdez-Scantling, right?
Yeah.
It was a tough one. The dude was flying down the field, had to change directions at the last second, but it was the perfect ball, and he just right off of his hands.
That's why he got pushed out of Green Bay. I've seen that story too many times with MVS. It's big player bust with that guy. It's like he's like 50-50 on stuff like that. On passes like he should catch.
It was a wet game. You noticed all the moisture on the helmets and the hands and stuff. But I mean, that's your job. That is what you're there to do.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. It's a game of results, not a game of what ifs. Okay, you get paid on results. You don't get paid on. I was wide open. Yeah, but you lost the game, man. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, results. There was a drive in the early third quarter when they put up some stat about the Eagles, and I looked at Cody and I said, "The Chiefs are about to pull away, and they're going to run them into the ground." And he said, "Yeah, I think you're right." And then it was the exact opposite. They choked it away. They gave it away.
And I don't really know. Like it seemed like their offense got a little weird there for a moment. Like they were running the ball so well with all the movement they were running, and Pacheco was running hard like he always does. I feel like if they would have stuck with that a little bit more and even just been able to get a couple of field goals, they win that game. You know what I mean? They didn't need much to put it out of reach.
It was a weird game that just kind of got away.
It was.
It's a lot of those Eagles games you see just turn into a dogfight by the third or fourth quarter, and they have the mentality. They just seem to win them all.
That's what they're good at.
They're fucking frauds. I'm sick of it.
They're 9-1, man.
I hate them.
You say that in the National Football League.
Hate them.
You don't get to 9-1.
2 years in a row, 9-1.
Yeah. You don't get to say that about a team who's got that level of consistency, man.
Can't wait to
Like
watch them lose in the playoffs.
A list during the game of like all the teams that have done it more than once, and it was like 3 teams.
I hate them.
Well, I get you hate them, man. It'd be like the same thing if we were talking about the Bears, but you got to respect what they've been able to do.
No, I wouldn't, because the Bears don't win.
The Bears have won before. There's been years where they've been good, but it hasn't been in a while. It's been a minute. It's been like since Jay Cutler days. That was a long time ago, But anyhow, anything else, boys, before we get into my glorious,
do the matchups. Do the matchups.
Ass kicking.
Hey, well, top You're looking at the 3 top scorers of the week right here on camera. Everybody,
Feels nice
Not-
to have my running backs actually do something for a week. That's fun. It's fun to see how that feels to get some solid running back performances.
Cody still doesn't know what that feels like.
Well, he's about to with that bonehead. And can we say something like, what the hell, man? Like nobody gives any shit to Jacoby
What?
or
Come on.
Cody about that trade at all.
What are you talking about?
Listen,
I mean, it is bullshit that the guy that's got the number 1 seed in the whole playoffs, Brant and Jacoby, decided the last 3 weeks of the regular season, hey, let me give you this fucking 25-point player for a buddy who's not even going to play. Come on.
the burgeoning rookie talent, maybe the rookie of the year. Okay, we're giving him away. And then we're also giving DeAndre Swift, who's running behind the best offensive line in the league.
You gave him a running back. He didn't have a running back. That's how Cody won 2 years ago. He had a running back go down.
Yeah.
Somebody, I know that was last year. That's how he made it to the championship.
We won't talk about last year who gave him the running back. Let's focus on what happened this
I don't
year.
want to hear anybody whining, especially Brandon Jacoby. If Cody pulls some shit off in the playoffs, we're gonna listen to him for another fucking year.
You
It's
just gave
always
DeAndre
me.
Swift. You
I'm
know?
always there.
Well,
I'm
listen,
always
man,
there. I'm always there.
what are you points against? Maybe 300, 200 lower than the next closest person? I would say there's a lot of
always
luck involved
me.
there, sir.
It's luck
It's
now,
always
but you
me.
start giving them players, and it's
It's
not luck
always
anymore.
me.
Yeah, he'll
I'm
still
always
lose.
there.
We're not worried. Anyway, so
Every
all I'm
time.
saying is let's have an even hand with the trade rape talks, folks, because the Rams have not been consistent. They haven't
Patrick
been putting up
feels
the
a way
numbers.
about the way people have talked about him this year.
Oh
in
yeah, I
trades.
mean it's really
You are the trade rapist.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so, but like, at least let's have a little bit of an even perspective, folks.
Hey, to be fair, I got this shit directed at me last year. I think it's just the people that make the most trades get the most trade shit talk.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first week where I was happy to not have AJ Brown on my team. It's only been 1 week, folks. Like, I've been regretting it for the last 2-3 weeks other than that. And, was real happy to have Tyreek Hill this week. I'll tell you that. That man lit the Raiders on fire. But, yeah, I mean, if we're talking about my squad real quick, it was nice to see what Lamar did. Would have been cool to see the Lamar-Mark Andrews game that was about to happen because they had it going the first drive.
They
and
did.
then Mark Andrews almost got in the end zone and destroys his ankle for the next 2 months. But
yeah, you don't have a stack anymore.
No, I don't. Cade Otton is a decent fill-in, actually, if you look at his targets. He'll be like a 7-point-a-week type guy, but he's not Mark Andrews. That's what he's been. There's other guys out there. There's Isaiah Likely, when Mark Andrews has been out before, he's put up some games. That's one name that we could think about, but it's like.
But you're replacing the tight end for.
Yeah,
in the landscape of tight ends that we currently live in. It's a big deal.
It's not great. It's not great, but it is what it is. It's nice to see what David Montgomery's doing. He's still running the ball really well, but it's just about an even split there now. They are still giving Montgomery the edge in the red zone, but Jahmyr Gibbs is getting red zone carries now too. So, I just was happy that they just about equaled each other out in the matchup this week. Tony Pollard, welcome back to the party, sir. Thanks for getting in the end zone finally. That's fun.
Did you see his touchdown run? Because it looked like a man who hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. He would not be denied. He said, "This rock is going across that line."
Well, he's tired of everybody talking shit. You know what I mean? And he had a very efficient game on the ground too. 5 yards a carry, caught 4 balls, got a touchdown. That was a nice game out of him. That's what we were waiting for. So, granted, it was against the worst run D in the league. Okay, but Washington sold off their entire defensive front, so we're hoping we can get a repeat next week.
I think you will.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to need. We got a big – we'll get to it later, but we got a big interpod matchup coming.
We do.
So,
we have about the most important interpod matchup I've ever seen.
I know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be juicy.
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big.
Steph Diggs
next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to machine gun the rest of this. Steph Diggs needs to get it going again. Tough matchup against the Jets. I mean, whatever you're playing against Sauce, like your numbers are going to be a little bit down. That man slides out. DK has been looking nice the last couple weeks. They're finally getting that man the ball. they're starting to get together a little bit more. I don't know how they dropped that game. Like they needed that game and they let the Rams get away with it, which is not good for their playoff hopes. The rest of it's inconsequential. We were talking about Tyreek Hill. We know what he does. If you have anything less than the top corner on that man, he's gonna light you up. That's what he's been doing all year.
I mean, like Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I mean, like next week it'll be interesting to see how that goes and how they're going to defend him and who's on Tyreek and how they're going to do that because, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'll be watching that game at the dealership while I'm at work, so that'll be fun. Jameson Williams got in the end zone too, and interestingly about Jameson Williams, highest snap share that he's played all year, 60% of snaps. So we might be seeing a little bit of a turn there in Detroit where he's finally pushing Josh Reynolds for that wide receiver 2 spot, which would be a really nice turn of events for my team. But
didn't he have like a 50-yard touchdown catch? Wasn't like 95% of his numbers this week on one play?
Yeah,
that's who he's going to be.
Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is that he's on the field more. So he's got the problem with him is he hasn't been on the field, right?
Got it.
Highest snaps that he's had, and he took 3 targets this week. If he can get that up to 6, the man will put up numbers. He's too explosive not to. You know what I mean? Yeah. If we're looking at Strozzi's squad, okay, underperforming all around, other than you got Herbert doing what Herbert does with Keenan Allen. It's just like taxes right now, Herbert and Keenan Allen. They do it every week. And for the guy who didn't fucking want him. And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs coming into his own. Detroit's happy with the role he's got and very explosive. Seems like he's figured it out at the NFL level, how to hit the holes, and he's extremely shifty. Jahmyr Gibbs is phenomenal in the open field. You know what I mean? He runs hard. So nice player there for Detroit. Outside of that, I mean, there's not really a lot to say here. AJ Brown had his first real less than pedestrian week all year.
Potato week.
Yeah. He got lost in the sauce. L'Jarius Sneed shut him down, And there was a couple plays, though, where Jalen Hurts missed him, and it could have been a big play, like the one where he threw the interception because AJ Brown,
it was way up the field.
Well, he was supposed to run a skinny post, right? But he beat Snead off the line, so he ran kind of an option off of that route for the touchdown, and then Jalen Hurts had everybody in his face, so he was throwing where he was supposed to be, and he wasn't there. So, there was one other play in the end zone that you usually see AJ Brown come down with too, that fade route. That seemed like I don't know what happened there. Normally that one's on the money, and that's a touchdown for those guys. So,
Jalen Hurts is not a reliable thrower of football. Really, is what it comes down to. Can't trust him.
I don't know about that. I think when he's under pressure, okay, maybe he's not as great as somebody like Mahomes or Allen when he's under pressure. But Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, sir.
So much so that I would not want to rely on one of his receivers on my fantasy lineup because they can put up a dud like this out of nowhere and cost you some playoff spots.
You're so full of shit. You're so full of shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't want AJ Brown. Yeah, you don't want 10 receptions, 125.
Hey, ask Strozzi. Like he's looking at a 1.3, going down in the playoff race. Like he's mad about it.
Yeah, the only
but you're writing off a player based off one bad week when he's a wide receiver 4. It's the most obvious troll job I've seen of you in this podcast.
Yeah, you're not even doing it well either. The performance is not even convincing. Anyway, there's not really much else there to dig into for Strozzi, honestly. I mean, the big letdown was AJ Brown. Jalen Waddle had an okay week. It's not what you want.
He's got Ty Chandler getting just about 15 touches 2 weeks in a row, so that might turn into something. But
Minnesota hates Alexander Madison so much. He's so fucking bad that Ty Chandler, career backup, is just stealing touches left and right. That's how bad Alexander Madison is. Thank God he's not on my team.
And being productive. He had 10 carries for 73 yards.
I was saying before they brought in Cam Akers that I thought Ty Chandler was going to steal work. You know what I mean? Earlier in the, if you remember,
Mhm.
like
I don't remember that.
early on, you don't remember that?
I don't remember you saying that at all.
Oh, I remember. I said that many times.
Oh,
But
did you? In
anyway.
this podcast or the other one?
No, this podcast,
Oh.
the only podcast, the only podcast that ever exists in the hearts.
Well,
and
you got
minds
7 leagues, so I
of
thought maybe you had another podcast you were.
I only have 2, sir. There's a lot of best ball leagues, but those don't take managing. Okay, like let's take it easy. All right. Anything else to say about this one? Suck it, Strozy. Eat shit. I'm better than you. You're welcome.
I mean, not as far
Well,
as record
sums
is
it up.
concerned, but
We're about to be, so don't worry about that. Anyway, on to the next one.
on to the next one.
Next one on my slate here is Jacoby and the shit the bed performance that Erica put up this week.
I got an alert on my phone today that had the weekly recap, and the number had the top 3 scorers of the week, and the number 1 and the number 3 were on it. Erica's bench.
Oh shit!
Well, the problem is that how can you trust Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence? They're so up and down. She doesn't know when to play 'em.
But based off the fact that Sam Howell makes it complicated, sure, but you brought Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley on your team to be your stack.
Yeah, it's true.
That's important to remember. Yeah,
and Tennessee's a divisional opponent. Okay, Jacksonville knows them well, and Tennessee has a bad passing defense. So you would think that maybe they could get something going. And then the other cheat code that has proven true all year long, when Zay Jones is on the field with Calvin Ridley puts up numbers because he plays out of the slot. When Zay Jones is out, he plays on the outside and he's running go routes and curls, and he doesn't perform. When he's in the slot, he lights teams up. I don't know why Jacksonville can't figure that out. Put some other no-name guy on the outside and run that man in the slot. Like, he's killing it in the slot. Like, let's do it. You know, can we finally do that finally every week?
finally.
Well, let's wait till week 16 until Erica's out of the playoffs, and then they can start doing.
Then we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So outside of that, she does have another. Her team took some body blows this week for sure because Jamar Chase, the ceiling has come way down now.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, and that really sucks for her playoff and championship hopes.
Yes.
The other part of it is that Jaden Reed is kind of making a case that he might be the go-to guy in Green Bay right now. He's been very consistent. They're finding ways to get him the ball, like the way that San Francisco does with Deebo Samuel. And Matt LaFleur kind of coming out of that Shanahan system, you can kind of see the resemblance because they've been giving Jaden Reed like 4 or 5 carries a week lately.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a rush touchdown this week, I believe.
Yep, and 46 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and they're going to keep doing that because Aaron Jones ain't going to play next week on a short week. He's not playing on Thursday, so it's going to be A.J. Dillon, who's unreliable as hell. And so they're going to give carries to Jaden Reed, and if that keeps happening, she could have a really solid flex piece there that can help her out down the stretch for sure. Outside of that, I mean, there's not really any light the world on fire performances on Erica's team other than the ones that happen on her bench. Keaton Mitchell is still very involved. You know what I mean? He didn't really have a breakaway run like he's been doing, but that man's fast. And, against a weaker run defense, maybe a non-divisional opponent, you throw him in the flex and see what he's going to do, when he needs some upside. But anything else about Erica's team, guys? You want to talk about Jacoby?
I mean, just the fact that it's the seesaw, the roller coaster we talked about with Erica of either putting up 70 or 110.
Well, I mean, I've been telling her all year long this year, you got to do what your gut is. Look at I'm not going to tell you who to play. That's first of all, that's not how this works. And second of all, I'm not going to.
Why would you listen to Patrick?
What am I doing right? For fuck's sake!
Yeah,
I'm barely going to make the playoffs.
You're not going to make the playoffs.
I will, but it's okay.
Well, in her defense, Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley combined for 60 this week, but they combined for 6 last week. So I guess
that's what I mean.
And also in the division, I just don't like games like that. It's got to be as sure as the Cowboys versus Giants to do an interdivision game for me.
Well, you just never know what's going to happen. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because like, look what the Giants did to Washington. Who saw that coming? 6 turnovers. Like, good
Yeah.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
Tommy
T-Law-
DeVito playing great.
I can't believe they won that game. But Trevor Lawrence, 32-point week to put him up to QB 16. So we can't rag on her too
Bleh.
bad for benching him for literally the QB 5. How is
It's
Sam
true.
Howell the QB 5?
Eric Bieniemy.
Exactly. And
Wild.
he's listen, Sam Howell does have a good arm. Okay. He makes some boneheaded decisions, but he's got a cannon. The guy can
I
throw
wish
the
I
ball.
could screen share because everybody needs to go to it, the Sam Howell, and just look at his picture because he looks like every fraternity boy.
He
looks
does.
like Mason Rudolph and Johnny Manziel had a love child.
He does look like that. He looks like one of those guys you just want to punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
very
does.
much so.
He does.
But
Anyway.
having a good year though. You know, 3 interceptions, he still puts up 18 points almost. Like it's pretty good still. But Jacoby with the balls to throw Mr. Love out there and capture his first actually really good game of the year. Over 300 yards, 70% completion rate, 2 touchdowns. Looked nice in that game. Granted, the Chargers lost Nick Bosa, or not
Joey.
Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, the other Bosa, the eternally injured Bosa, as we say. But the Chargers, with all that talent, they've been giving it up left and right on defense all year long. I only really recall one good defensive performance from them all year long, and it was against Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's something that you could foresee. But Jordan Love has been looking better the last 3 weeks. He's throwing the ball better. He's more accurate down the field. They haven't been playing elite defenses, granted, right? But he's been looking better. So
Yeah, better, but not really that great because he
No.
put up 20 points this week, and it's his highest point total since week 3.
yeah, he's average. But I'm just saying that, like, as a Packers fan and watching him, he has improved over the last 3 weeks. But Christian McCaffrey does the, you know, like we were saying about Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, sure as taxes. Christian McCaffrey get in the end zone. Okay, he's only not done it once this year. So,
Best running back in fantasy. Good to see him in a starting lineup. What the hell?
Yeah, glad he made it back in.
well, he had
Probably
to
just
get rid
because
of DeAndre
Kamara was on a
Swift,
bye.
you know.
Well, look at the running backs on Jacoby's team. He moving Swift. I thought at first was like, oh, real dumb. But then I'm looking at it. He's got Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara,
Good for him.
and he's got Devin Singletary putting up 18 a week now. What's
It's good for
about?
him.
Where he went wrong there, Devin Singletary has been the only man in Houston, okay? Damian Pierce has not been great, but when Damian Pierce comes back, I'm not going to play him. I'm not saying this because he's on my team. I don't think Damian Pierce is good this year. Damian Pierce is going to take 40% of the snaps. Devin Singletary putting up 20 points a week.
When does that come back?
He's come back this week.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm saying for Jacoby. Like, you gave up your locked and loaded 3 running backs. Now you got 2. You got Kamara and McCaffrey, right?
You only need 2.
You did it. You did it for a wide receiver who put up predominantly most of his points when the number 1 receiver was out, and has a quarterback that's battling injuries now and is missing time.
And the team is fading. Okay, the time.
This is why Cody moved him. Cody went, ooh, who can I give this guy away to while he still has value? And maybe somebody will give me an actual running back for him. Enter Jacoby.
Stupid. Anyway, not a good move. I get why Jacoby did it. He thinks he needs a wide receiver.
It puts more points on his team.
He picked the wrong one. He picked the wrong wide receiver. He could have got somebody better than Puka at this point in the year. Definitely.
I think you're right. I would have given him Cooper Kupp for him, but with the hamstring injury or the ankle injury, that's not maybe even better.
Cooper Kupp's not as fantasy relevant as Puka Nacua, so like let's stop pretending like that's real.
Anyhow,
opposite argument.
Anyway,
Puka.
Debo is the lost man in San Francisco when they're all healthy. Because Brandon Ayuk is the alpha there, and he looks amazing. Brandon Ayuk. I heard somebody one of the not heard but read. You know, when I'm looking over the fantasy week and I'm reading articles and I'm seeing what all the talking heads are saying about the league, people are comparing that guy. They think, you know, and I don't think this is accurate because I think Justin Jefferson is a much better player still, and still is in a more elite talent than Brandon Ayuk. But they're like, what if Brandon Ayuk was commanding a target share like Justin Jefferson? What would his numbers look like then? Because he's doing it off of not that many targets. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like in the 8 to 10 range, but I mean, Jefferson's like 13, 15 a week. You give Ayuk 5 more targets, what his numbers look like? Like he's having a lights out year, you know?
True. He's been very electric. Not a
very
whole lot of
good.
touches, like you said, but just explosive as hell.
Yep.
But he's probably able to be a lot more efficient with his touches too because of what that offense brings overall.
Yeah.
Because George Kittle, because Deebo Samuel, because Christian McCaffrey. So like, yeah, you
Yep.
see that many touches because if they threw it to him like they threw to Justin Jefferson, that offense wouldn't look the same.
It's true. They wouldn't be as efficient. You're right.
Mhm.
But it's just a fun like thought experiment to have. You know what I mean? What would it look like if he had 5 more a game? Like
Yeah.
would be kind of
Sure.
wild. I mean, outside of that, I guess we can touch on like Adam Thielen had a fine game against a tough defense. 8 receptions, 74 yards. Like that's pretty solid against Dallas. The one thing that I think Jacoby's really going to benefit from if Cole Kmet starts to falter like he did this week is that David Njoku is going to be the best friend of DTR over there in Cleveland because that
Think
man
so?
does not want to throw the ball down the field. He
He
wants
got-
to manage games.
He got
keep it close
15
and let the
targets
defense
this week.
win.
Wow, 15?
targets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
David
huge news
Njoku
for
time.
Jacoby.
David Njoku time right now. Yep. And
Look
A
at
he can
lot
do
of
Jacoby
those
do.
games are going to look just like that. Man, that game was boring. 13 to 10. Ugh.
That's how Cleveland's going to do it. They're going to do it like the old school Chicago Bears did, where the offense sucks, the quarterback sucks, but the defense is phenomenal, and they're
Mhm.
going to ride that.
And
wave.
they are.
Defense
Oh,
is
yeah.
so good. They lost
Yeah.
Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson for the year, and they're still like, I know the Pittsburgh Steelers were like a fake 6-3, but still.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
It's
are
still
fake 6-3.
Baltimore's division, right? But
Even
the
more
Browns
so
are
now
being-
because of the
Yeah.
Burrow thing.
Well, there's no other quarterbacks in that conference now. Or I mean, in
Yep.
that division now. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So,
Absolutely.
So I think you're going to see the Browns skate in the playoffs, and they might upset somebody in the wild card round, but they're probably going to go out first round. You know,
I can see them getting lined up against like Miami first round, and for some reason just shutting Miami down for an entire game.
they absolutely could.
Oh
They
my
absolutely
god,
could.
Miles
they
Garrett
just-
giving people season-ending concussions. Just
That guy is one of the most ridiculous athletes I've ever seen in the NFL.
we can
It's
have
crazy.
some Miles Garrett appreciation time every podcast that we do.
I mean, he's just so fun to watch. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Just a guy with violent intentions that moves like the wind. You know,
But won't be
fun to
stopped.
watch.
Can't be stopped by one man. Sometimes not two.
Very
No.
much a created character. Like he's an actual Goliath by species.
If I found out at some point in the future, like if they figure out some technology to go back and like see if people were like, you know, genetically experimented on, and we find out that Miles Garrett was one of those, I would not be surprised in the least.
Yeah, right. Everyone goes like, yeah, look at him.
I'll take
Yeah.
that package, please.
yeah. Put that one up. Put that one on my boy. You know.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, Jacoby gets the win, moves an inch closer to getting into the playoffs. Erica's fine. She'll be there, but she's got to figure out how to capture that upside every week if she wants to win a championship. That's what you got to do. So, luckily for her, she's probably still going to only have to do it twice. She's probably still going to get that bye. So, anyway, enough said. Should we move on to the next one?
Move it along.
To the man who may be starting to put his stamp on the first playoff appearance in his history in this league. From the ashes rises the Trish and Todd household. Okay, Todd's figured it out. He's rising. He's probably going to get there. For my sake, I hope he does it. But you know what? He's figuring it out. You know,
He's
and
doing it.
He's sure trying.
he sure tried.
He looked for a quick minute like he was going to blow this game because Jalen Hurts was at negative points at halftime.
And I
Mhm.
had to open my fat mouth, talk
You did.
about it, and then it
And then he
completely
had
turned
2
around.
rushing touchdowns after that.
Yeah, should have just shut up, let him wallow in the misery of getting sacked 6 times in the first half.
Oof.
But yeah, Jalen Hurts gets it done with the classic tush push, as he's wont to do. Unstoppable. Did you hear the
Unstoppable.
stat that they put up? 57 out of 62 conversions in that
Mhm.
formation for them.
And then right after they said that stat, he got another one, and he got 4 yards when he needed one.
You know what that formation is like? They have perfected. It's a rugby scrum. Have you ever watched rugby? You know,
Mhm.
have you ever seen that in the game? It's so when they're inbound in the well, no, it's not when they're inbounding the ball. There's like a
Like a
stoppage in
stoppage
play.
time.
They
Yeah.
put the ball down, they line up, and the offensive team, the team possessing the ball, has to push the other team far enough to reveal the ball to a player behind them, and then as soon as he picks it up, play starts again. But if
Mhm.
they can't do that and it stalls out, then I think the other team gets an opportunity to get the ball, or it's a turnover.
Well, there
So,
seems to be a few different things going on there, especially because if you're going to dissect anybody doing it, you're going to dissect the person that created it and perfected it. So there's the line that is essentially bear crawling upon the snap to form the first layer. The quarterback, who happens to squat 600 pounds, forms the second layer by himself and just kind of like a torpedo, 45-degree angle forward.
yep,
And then the two guys behind him and another guy from the side just come up and push the entire thing. It's like wrestling. The low body wins,
yep.
leverage.
And they have phenomenal athletes across their entire offensive line. I mean, Mailata, Dickerson, Kelsey,
The best
um,
center in the league, right?
yeah. And I'm missing a few of the guys, but I mean, they have the 5 best offensive linemen in the league, probably.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you watch the way they do it too, one other thing I was kind of watching during that game is one other thing that I think that their skill position players are supposed to be doing during that is the guys on the edges. They're supposed to be like peeling them off, like pulling them off the pile and getting them out of the way. So like
Mhm.
if you watch them, the dudes on the outside of the scrum, the guys that are kind of floating around the edges and maybe could get in and grab Jalen Hurts and slow him down or whatever, the skill players on the outside are peeling those guys off and throwing them off the pile and stuff to keep the weight down and keep it moving. It's
Mhm.
really well. I mean, they got to figure it out clearly.
It seems simple, like when you first dissect it, or somebody that doesn't know football that well, because you're like, oh, it's a QB sneak. Just everybody get it and go forward, right? But like you said, everybody's got a job on that play. That's why it works so well.
Yeah, and like you just see the opposing linebackers just floating on the pile as it's moving forward. They're just riding the train. They can't do anything. It's kind of wild.
One
Um,
other random play that I want to touch about that game was the almost intercepted spike where the nose
yes,
tackle dove between the legs of the center. And oh, it was so close. It bounced right off his hands.
yep, Jalen Carter. Yeah,
Mhm.
having a great year, Jalen Carter too. Probably in the conversation for defensive rookie of the year. He's playing
Mhm.
very very well. Um, but
I can't
anyhow,
believe
yeah,
he fell all the way to fucking Philadelphia in the draft. It's unreal.
they're just like, oh, another Georgia Bulldog. Sure, we'll take him. It's been working
I
well for
mean,
us so far.
man, Dallas even took a defensive tackle like in the first round of that, and it wasn't him. And Mezzie Smith's doing great, but like
Yeah.
I thought it just seemed like such an obvious choice that he would be like a top 10 player taken.
Well, you would think the rest of the league is maybe this next year going to get on it and be like, hey, maybe we should be taking Georgia defensive players. Seems to be working
Mhm.
real well for Philadelphia. They're like the new Alabama.
Fuck.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, enough about Jalen Hurts. James Cook getting it done in the passing game. He had 73 rush yards too, but there was a lot of spread to the carries in that game for the Bills. Josh Allen had plenty. Latavius Murray had his share, not a lot, but he had enough. Um, and then they had Ty Johnson, who used to be a Jet, um, get in there too, and it caught a
Mhm.
passing touchdown. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's concerning about James Cook. Obviously, James Cook is explosive, especially in the open field. He's shifty, he's fast. Um, had a little bit of a trouble holding on to the ball last week because he's kind of a small guy. Um, Probably running with the ball a little bit too far away from his body too, from what I can see. But that's the only concern there is that there might be some games where he just doesn't have enough on his plate to get it done. You know. Um, The other thing, Devon Achan, all the hype came in, started the game, was on the field to start the game, just had a minor flare up, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're going to the playoffs, and we want you on the squad." So,
What does that mean for Todd's team going forward? Is he going to miss time?
I don't think so. The reason
You don't
they
think
held
so?
him
I
out,
think that it was just a cautionary, maybe ease him back in. It might take another week or two because obviously they thought he was ready and he wasn't. But
well, all reports were that Devon Achan was begging to go back in the game, that he was good, he could have played, and McDaniels wouldn't let him in because, doing the smart thing. They didn't need him to beat the Raiders, It turned out to be a close game. The Raiders kept themselves in it, but it didn't look like they were going to win that game the entire time. You know what I mean? And I think the Dolphins knew that. So,
yeah, they had 400 offensive yards without him.
yeah, they were fine, CeeDee Lamb and Devonta Smith doing just enough. They both had, solid games. CeeDee kind of came back down. They just didn't really need it. Okay, Carolina's got nothing. Dallas's defense is one of those games again where Dallas's defense won the game for them, and so the offensive players didn't do as much as they could have. Deron Bland, by the way, good God, I don't know what
You'd love to see
water
it
down there in Dallas, but they just get playmaking cornerbacks left and right lately.
4 pick sixes.
You saw him do that too. He's like, "That's 4 if you count." Like, and then when he got in the end zone,
I want to know how many like star-studded wide receivers don't even have 4 touchdown receptions this year. I'm gonna spend the next 5 minutes figuring that out.
there's probably plenty. By the way,
Hey,
that
wait.
man's got more, and he plays on the other side of the ball. And that was a beautiful one too. Stretched out, caught it, somersaulted right back to the feet, takes it to the house. Like there's a lot of guys that would not have converted that one, and he did it. So
He likes scoring.
him. Yeah, I mean, clearly,
I like him scoring. It's great.
I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, wait, here you go. I'm gonna name off some receivers that have less catches for touchdowns
This will
than
be fun.
Deron Bland does this year.
Okay.
DK Metcalf,
Oh,
Wow.
Justin Jefferson,
Well,
A little
Chris
more
Olave.
understandable.
Chris Olave,
What?
That's
Michael
also a
Pittman, Garrett
What?
Wilson, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper.
What?
There's
wow.
some people on this list, man.
Oh man.
Chris
me-
Godwin.
Godwin's had trouble scoring it all year long, though. But
Okay, here's some receivers that have exactly 4, the same amount as Deron Bland.
This is gonna be aggressive.
Devonta Adams,
Wow.
Calvin Ridley.
Still wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
the list is
They're all
list
wow,
pretty
really.
much is there. Brandon Ayuk even's got 4. Yeah, that's gross.
that's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, Olave is wild to me, and then the other one you said too. Who was he? There was one of the first DK. DK's a touchdown guy, man. That's crazy.
The Garrett Wilson one. I know their quarterback struggles because of injury and other things, but still surprising.
Yep.
Very much.
Because I mean, everyone got to know his name with Zach Wilson anyway. Or if not Zach Wilson, then who was it that was throwing him the ball fucking crazy? Was it
White, some White,
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Mike White? That's
White,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Mike White made a
Yeah,
career
that's right.
off of that. But Aaron Rodgers, by the way, jogging, says he's going to be at practice in 2 weeks.
That's fucking cool.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully the Jets can sneak into the playoffs because that would be a fun redemption story for that team.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
I want
me
to see
too.
them knock the Bills out of the playoffs.
They could. I mean, what are they? They're 1 game back
Yeah.
on the Bills right now. Like,
Yeah, the guy's got so much playoff experience that you can just step right in. You know,
it'll be
That-
fun. He
that
had a
would
whole
even be a
offseason.
hiccup.
He had a
Yeah,
whole offseason with him too. Like nothing's changed. Like he come right back in and be fun as
That
long
would
as he's
be
good to go.
crazy. That'd be crazy.
I want to see it.
I want to see it just because I want people to talk about it.
I mean, it's pretty wild that he's been able to recover like that. But anyway, you did get a touchdown on Devontae, the 4 touchdown guy. Got one this week to get to 4.
Hey.
It sounds like.
Mhm.
Good thing he can keep up with Deron Bland. Good for him.
Yeah.
So Brad's season's done, right? 4-7, statistically not eliminated, but if you look at the playoff bracket, He needs everybody that's seeds 3, 4, 5, and 6 to lose, plus some other help on top of that. And he'd have to win out on top of that.
The big problem for Brent this year, too much Lana.
Too much Lana. Too
That's
much Lana.
Can't do that when Arthur Smith's there, man. And fortunately, we didn't know that before the year. I mean, free Bijan Robinson. I want to watch that guy play football.
No shit.
Lana.
Oh, good God. Free the rest of that squad too. I'm most excited about Bijan, but there's plenty of other guys there that need a better coach too.
Put Bijan in Houston. Just think about that.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
CJ Stroud and that little offense they got cooking down there.
Yeah,
that would be a good time. Not going to happen, but
no.
I mean, there's not really much else to say about Brand's squad. Josh Allen did a Josh Allen week. Saquon Barkley carrying that entire team on his back. They got nothing else, but Saquon's doing it and benefiting from that. Hopefully, you just don't see him get traumatically injured again because of how much they're abusing him right now.
They have to too. Every play goes to Barkley. Tommy DeVito's just fighting for his life. The running back depth kind of got Brant this week too because he didn't have a second running back with Bijan on a bye. He had to start Chris Rodriguez Jr. and his next.
I have no idea who that is.
Same dude.
Yeah,
he's a rookie. So he's a rookie. He's a depth piece that Washington picked up in the draft. Apparently had a good college career. And had a respectable. If he doesn't fumble, for a fill-in guy getting 5-6 points,
that'd have been good. You're right. But he did.
Yeah, he just gets buttholed by Gabe Davis, which is why you don't.
Which is what happens to Gabe Davis.
Yeah, dude. Do not put Gabe Davis on your team. Let somebody else do it. Okay.
There's a couple of stacks in this matchup, but they're from top tier quarterbacks and second receivers. And they just don't quite hit the same.
Nope.
I'm fine with Dalton Kincaid and Allen because Kincaid has been very consistent. He's very involved in that offense.
But Gabe Davis is a nightmare to have on a team because it's either going to be 18 or it's going to be 0.
I mean, the argument can be made that Gabe Davis almost single-handedly cost Brant this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Because, if you get a reasonable performance out of wide receiver, this is like maybe a 5-point week. And if you get a good one, Brant wins.
I agree.
So that sucks for him.
Gabe Davis cost him the playoffs. It's official. He's gone.
He's probably gone.
Mathematically, again, not official, but it's as close as you're
dead.
Cut it out, balance sheet. Let us have our fun.
No. It's true.
1%
don't mean shit around here.
I'm not dissecting it. They put little letters next to your fucking name on the standings to tell you if you've officially been eliminated. And
he's at the lowest that isn't 0.
Correct.
He's the only one lower than him is Trish. So speaking of Trish, let's jump into the reckoning that the Butthole Wreckers put on the Catalina wine mixing. Great name.
Bang.
Let it rip, kid. What do you got, Cody?
Same old story. Running backs don't exist. It never mattered anyway. Bye locked up, beating down the worst team in the league. I mean, there isn't a lot here. Just the most exciting part is that I'm going to have neither Aaron Jones, Latavius Murray matchup again because Swift can get in there for a piece that was sitting on my bench and couldn't get in my starting lineup. I had to bench the number 10 wide receiver on the year because my wide receivers are that good.
Well, not to stroke the ego, as we shall say, but you probably do so far this year have the 2 most consistent wide receivers.
Consistently explosive. Like, not talking like 12-point consistency, like 17 to 25, just like this week, every week.
Number 6 and number 2.
Keenan Allen also could have had a much bigger game.
He could have
dropped a touchdown. He dropped another one.
You have the wide receiver before the Puka trade. You said the 2, the 6, the 10, and the 15 on your team. It's wild.
Wide receiver has been a good spot to be. And that wide receiver 15, again, was wide receiver 50 3 weeks ago.
And you
So,
add
like-
a defense that gets you 20 plus points again. That's
Mhm.
disgusting. They
Yep.
have scored 132. I've never seen a defense average 13 points a week through 11 games.
The only thing that would throw cold
10
water
games.
on
Cold
Mr. Tank
Splish
Dell
splash.
is that he is going to be button up against Cleveland in championship week.
You're right. You're right.
No,
I have
that's not great.
seen that. And I'm like, well, that's not where you want to be.
No. But the rest of his schedule looks actually fantastic. Jacksonville, Tennessee.
What's
Denver
he got in 15? Because that's the only one that matters now.
Tennessee, which is he's probably going to light him up. Tennessee's not good in the secondary, but
Hmm.
cold weather Tennessee is a different Tennessee. So
I mean, how cold does it get in Tennessee?
it gets real cold. You ever seen Derrick Henry running through the snow? Come on, man. It's cold.
Yeah,
down there.
when
As
they're on the
cold or
road in
colder than it
Buffalo.
does in Kansas City.
I
About
mean,
the same altitude. Or not altitude, longitude, latitude, whatever fucking one of those it is.
hey, high school ended a long time ago.
Latitude, longitude, I don't
Right.
give a
Hey,
shit.
one of them fuckers.
Am I a fucking nautical explorer in the 1500s? I don't need to know that shit. Let's keep it
About the
moving.
same level of up and down as the rest of it.
You know what
They
I'm saying?
make a fucking crisscrossy thing. It's like tic-tac-toe, you know?
Both of them like barbecue sauce. They get it.
How much time are we
Anyway.
gonna spend talking about Trish's lineup? Because she's definitely never listened to an episode. So it's not like we gotta give her 90 seconds.
Why do you think she's never listened to an episode? Because her ability to take in information and apply it to this game is proven to be non-existent. Is that what you're saying then?
No, I think it's more of a complete lack of desire to listen to the three of us talk for an hour and a half in her free time. But probably
that's something to consider.
And a lack of real effort in the league.
That can't be why.
That can't be
why.
it. Can't be it.
These three golden voices
No.
and the humor and the
Not even from a disrespectful place,
This
but
is
just
for everybody.
completely like thinking about the podcast doesn't make her mad. She just literally doesn't give a fuck.
Hey, well, you
And
know,
it shows in her fantasy performance yet again. That's what I'll say.
Oh, you think
Trish,
there's a direct
suck it.
correlation between
Absolutely. If
listening to
you
the
don't
three
listen
of
to
us
this
blab for an
podcast,
hour?
you suck.
well, what's kind of wild
If
is
you don't listen to this
like,
podcast, you don't have a record as good as
Tell
mine.
me why Alan listens to it every week then.
There's
Alan
also
loves
there's the application
Right.
process that he's having an issue with.
this. Anyhow, but I mean, let's keep it moving. So,
Man, we're getting
the
some fucking
interesting-
trash Allen out of nowhere, man. I love that.
Well, I beat him this week. He's got some more vinegar coming for about 40.
Do you want to move on to that matchup? Because there's not much to say about Trish's
no.
sorry ass squad.
The
If
only
you guys
thing-
want to
No,
keep
no.
talking about me, like
hold on,
you're not gonna like that.
Hold on a minute.
Well,
The only thing I would say about Trisha's squad is that, like, if
that
you
they're
remove
the last
the
place in the
injuries,
league.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But if you remove the injuries here and you look at her squad top to bottom, it doesn't look like that bad of a squad. It looks like
Yeah.
an okay squad. You know what I
But
mean?
it
Yeah,
is.
we've been saying that all year though. She went from
Winning.
the best 1 and 2 team or 1 and 2 team to the best 1 and 3 team to the best 1 and 4 team to maybe not so great one. What's going on? Oh, Trish is not going to do anything.
Yeah,
She was projected to finish first, I believe, on the draft recap.
I don't know
was.
how it keeps like that. You know, good on Todd for kind of breaking the curse, and he hasn't done it yet. He could still,
He
win,
hasn't done it yet.
but he's looking like he's going to put one together this year. You know, but Trish has yet to get the monkey off her back.
Trish, week 2 put up 125 and week 3 put up 135. So before JJ went down, she was still kind of lighting people up, and that was with a terrible Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like they're just her squad has not all coalesced at the same time really since early on this year. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Like, she's got some big names, but they just
I
haven't
would
all
say
been
her
together.
managing of her squad was not efficient.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're playing a banged up Ken Walker when you got Isaiah Pacheco there. I mean, I guess you are playing Philly. Okay, I get that. You're playing probably the
Yeah,
best.
that's why. That's why.
But Ken Walker ain't been doing shit. He's clearly not healthy, you know.
Hmm.
So
Let's get his poor ass squad.
yeah, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
Let's go. I like what Allen did with the all bench first team, taking a little dig at himself there. And
it fit too because he had Jalen Warren with 22 sitting down.
Jalen Warren doing his best. We've been saying it, but doing his best Tony Pollard impersonation lately.
Someone told me that they remind him of Austin Eckler. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, actually, they do have a similar physique. They do kind of play similarly. It's not a bad comparison. He's not Austin Eckler at this point in his career. Like don't get it twisted. But he could. I mean, Austin Eckler wasn't Austin Eckler the first year he kind of came onto the scene either. You know what I mean? Austin Eckler was doing the same thing, very similarly actually, behind Melvin Gordon to what Jalen Warren's doing behind another big-bodied running back in Pittsburgh, and Najee Harris. So it actually is not a terrible comparison. It might even be a little bit better. Like Tony Pollard and Jalen Warren, I would say, are more dissimilar than Eckler and Warren in terms of the way they play.
I would agree with that.
Jalen Warren is going to be, I think, a hot pickup next year in the draft because I think Najee's time in Pittsburgh is ticking.
Jalen Warren, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson all have like similar running styles in my head.
I mean, Bijan is just otherworldly, and
he's on a different level than the other two. But
yeah. They'll be. I think you're going to see all of those guys go top 5 rounds next year. But Jalen Warren's the only question mark. Kind of depends on what happens around him. But
you might see all 3 of those go in the first 3 rounds next year, depending.
Well, I think Gibbs and Bijan already did this year, and they probably will again next year. I think Bijan, with a coaching change in Atlanta, is probably going to be a first-round pick next year again.
He already was.
Yeah.
Getting Arthur
but I don't
Smith
think
to death.
Get that anyway. We don't need to talk about the fucking.
No, we need to talk about this matchup. We need to talk about Jake beating the brakes off of Allen.
Yeah, I mean, Allen had some okay performances, but Jake's kind of got that.
He put up 82. What do you mean about okay performances?
He had a few guys in there that did okay. That's what I'm saying.
What the fuck?
I've got the wide receiver 14, the wide receiver 18, and the wide receiver 22, and none of them are Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, hey, Cooper Kupp, man, might not be playing next week either.
I know.
Kupp's
so.
Done.
I mean, look at when he came back, his first 2 weeks back after his first 4 missed, he put up 16 and 24. And his target share even continued, but he went against Dallas, Pittsburgh, tough defense, missed his quarterback per week, had a bye week sandwiched in there. He's done nothing since week 6.
Can we talk about something, though, too? When are you going to put some respect on Courtland Sutton's name, man? That man's been having the best year he's ever had. He's been playing out of his mind this year. Courtland Sutton's putting together an all.
There was a 3-person carousel for my flex spot this week, and it was D Hop, it was Daryl Henderson, and it was Courtland Sutton, and all 3.
And why did you pick?
And all 3 of them, got a touchdown.
I would like to know why you picked one that you picked, though.
Because I thought he had the best chance to score the most points. That's a stupid question.
Oh no, I thought you picked him because he was the safe points. Because you didn't need a lot of points against Allen because Allen's garbage.
I figured all of them were going to score in a similar range, so it was kind of like picking hairs for like a couple bonus points, There was the argument of the safe bet, too. I figured the running back that was going to get the first opening drive carries was him. But then I got Royce Freeman on the bench, so I'm like, if I start Darren Henderson and Royce Freeman's actually the guy, which it turned out he was, he just got a touchdown vultured by Henderson, and that would have felt even dirtier.
But here's the thing, though. Does it not get safer than Courtland Sutton? The guy's only had 1 bad game the entire year. He's had 10 points a week every week, like clockwork. He had one.
He's had a touchdown in 8 of their 10 games.
Russell Wilson loves him. He's the red zone guy on that team.
Nice.
Clearly,
you love having it.
I'm trying to trade him.
Well, you better do it quick. We only got 1 more week, folks. Daryl Henderson, by the way, is back on the practice squad because Kyron Williams coming next week.
Yep.
So that's why he's got that FA next to the old name there.
How about me? I got Royce Freeman, who's still going to be sitting in the exact same number 2 spot he was before. So it doesn't really do much for my team. They're still going to die on my bench.
Yeah. And then, I mean, one thing I will say that's a little bit concerning for you is the game in Green Bay was a little bit wet. And the Chargers players, if you were watching them, were having trouble with the turf there. They were slipping a lot. There was a lot of slips in that game. Like a lot of guys kind of losing their feet. Austin Eckler, you could attribute it to that, but he did not really look right in that game. And Green Bay is not an opposing run defense. He
I
looked
think
like
it
he was
was
a little bit slow.
it was a little bit of that, but it was kind of a game script thing too, because he fumbled the ball down like the 2-yard line going to the end zone and lost it. And if it wasn't that, his stat line's 14 instead of 6. And after that, you could just see them kind of like, whether it was because of that or because of what you said, he just wasn't all there. They just didn't seem to utilize him like they usually do. He had only 2 catches and 10 carries. That's not normal numbers for him.
No, it's not.
Kind of
Especially because they were
wild.
trailing or like within 1 score for the entire second half, which is Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen written all over it.
Yep.
Well,
It
Keenan
was just a
Allen
weird
did it.
day.
Keenan Allen did. I mean, Chargers win that game, by the way. Quentin Johnston dropped a game-winning touchdown. Wide open.
Yep.
Completely torched his guy. Was it
Yep.
6 yards past him? Completely dropped it. Not great. Quentin Johnston, I will say, I like the look of him. He's got to figure out the drops. That happens a lot for talented young wide receivers. I've said it before.
That's true. Well, you see that second-year wide receiver. He's a candidate for that second year and breakout.
I think you could see him it's obvious, but he could easily slide right into that Mike Williams role because Mike Williams is, I don't know how many more, cracks of the bat that Mike Williams has got, man. He's had so many injuries.
No joke.
He's just so good when he's on the field, though.
But how many more injuries
So
can he
good.
withstand before he just
Yeah.
can't do it anymore, man? It's going to
Yeah.
happen at some point,
Yeah.
He's had a lot of catastrophic ones,
Yeah.
But otherwise, for your squad, Jake, you get a pedestrian week out of Mahomes and Kelsey, and they're still putting up 28. That's why you love to have them.
I do like it because they've been duds. They're a big reason why I've lost 3 in a row. Bye week in there for one of them, and then just 2 non-existent weeks. So felt good to see Kelsey get back in the end zone.
You also got to like that at least Will Levis, like some rookie quarterbacks in New York, don't necessarily understand that if you got a big dog on the team, you throw him the fucking ball, and he's been doing that with Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like
makes your rookie campaign look a lot better, doesn't it? Like you got a guy like that, like I don't need to be that accurate.
Yeah, you have a Hall of Fame level wide receiver on your squad. Like, hey, let's get him the ball, huh? Like, what do you do?
I'm going to double check the trade deadline, but if anybody wants Cooper Kupp that listens to this episode, I'd love to move him and get DeAndre Hopkins or Cortland Sutton like in my starting lineup. Like I don't even need much. Just like
don't be taking this guy's Rotten Tomatoes, people. He's trying to sell you a bag of Rotten
Cooper
Tomatoes.
and Kupp. You're gonna call him a runt?
Yeah,
Sir.
it said
Sir.
Rotten Tomatoes, sir. Guy's garbage. He's rotten on the vine.
Cooper Runty Cump.
Rotten on the vine. Anyway,
Runty Cump.
I'm gonna throw cold water on that. Don't be doing it, folks. I'm saving this man.
You're gonna listen to the trade rapist about it? He'd like to take him.
Oh, the trade rapist who gave Jordan Addison one of the greatest rookie talents in the league over Gus Edwards scoring touchdowns.
How Jordan Addison
like any other running back.
How Jordan Addison do this week?
Did just fine. We'll get to that. Hey, good segue. Let's move
Good
on.
segue. Good segue.
Jordan Addison, 5.9. Okay. Now listen, Jordan Addison's doing great. It was not a great game for Minnesota. They dropped the game to Denver. Denver's on a heater, man. Denver's headed
Denver.
right to
I
the
hate
playoffs.
that.
They have
Playoffs.
a great coach. Denver's going to the playoffs, man.
Playoffs.
Don't they have a losing record? Or are they 5-5?
No, I think they're 5-5.
6-5 now, aren't they?
They're 6 and no.
They've won like 5 out of their last 6.
5-5. Okay. They're not going to the playoffs.
I think Denver goes.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I know they've been on a heater. They've been doing a lot better than they should have been.
$5 says Denver's in the playoffs.
20.
Nope. 5.
Wow.
It's Denver, dude.
$50.
No, 5.
Come on. $100 says Denver doesn't make the playoffs.
No, 5. Oh, you want to go 100? All right, let's go $1. $1 says Denver makes playoffs. Anyway,
I'm just trying to think of who they're going to sneak ahead of because they're currently number 10, and there's only 7 spots.
They could easily beat out the Bills. Bills suck this
The
year.
Bills aren't in.
You say easily. They barely beat them because there was 12 men on the field in Denver. Wait, was that in Denver? That was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo.
I don't know.
Buffalo just lost 2 more defensive starters last
Buffalo's
week.
not going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they're not. I don't see it for Buffalo.
No, the Bills' schedule going forward is a nightmare, and
Atrocious.
they're not going to be in.
Denver's right there on the edge of it in the way they've
I
been
think
playing right now.
Denver's fluking right now, and you're
Yeah,
falling for
they'll
it.
be on the edge. They'll be either the last one in or the first one out.
And that's not what they're made of.
I think Denver's getting in. Anyway,
$100 says they're not.
I think they're getting in. Anyway, I think Houston's in too. But
I do think Houston's in.
and I think Jacksonville. So I mean, let's play it out. Okay, look, we're on the last one. We've been moving through quick, so let's go through it real quick. In the AFC, you got the Chiefs, right, for sure. Who else we got? We got the Chiefs. We got the Dolphins.
Mhm.
You got the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Jaguars, and the Dolphins are your 1 through 4 right now. Your
And then you got
5
the
is
Browns.
Browns. You got the Texans, and you got
Cleveland's
the
gonna-
Steelers.
Cleveland's going to be there.
You get 8 teams, right? It's 8 teams get in.
7.
17.
7. So we named off 5. So you went the top 4, and then we said
No,
Cleveland.
And then it's Cleveland, Houston, and Pittsburgh are the 5, 6, and 7.
Pittsburgh ain't getting in.
And then Bills are actually the 8 looking. They're on the out looking in now with the Colts at 9.
You tell me that Denver couldn't find a way to slip past with the
I'm not
Bills
saying it's
schedule.
impossible. I didn't say that.
We're just saying
Pittsburgh's
they're not
fake.
going to.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's fake.
Pittsburgh's
Bills
more
got a
real
bad
than
schedule.
Denver. Pittsburgh's more real than Denver.
Oh my
Pittsburgh
God,
and
they're
Denver are the
absolutely
same
not.
team to me. No, maybe
No.
not even the same personalities, but same level. They're the
There
same
you go.
tier.
Yeah,
Absolutely the same tier.
that's fair.
Denver has a way better secondary. Okay, they actually have an actual shutdown corner. They have a top tier corner. Pat Surtain is one of the best young corners in the league.
Mhm.
Okay, they have an
And the Steelers
offense.
have J.J. Watt.
They have
TJ,
TJ.
sorry.
Yeah. They don't have anything in the secondary though. The Pittsburgh secondary is
Minka
horrendous.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, they have different strengths. I'm not saying they're the
old
same
man.
team. I'm saying they're the same
Old
tier.
man.
Yeah, an old man.
How old
Minka
is
Fitzpatrick.
Minka Fitzpatrick?
Too old.
How
Anyway,
old?
Is
also
it Micah?
it's Minka,
Minka.
That was
like a
Micah.
Mink jacket.
Minka.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's got a.
Yeah.
It's got a
You're thinking of Micah Hyde, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah, but anyway,
Minka Hyde.
it doesn't matter. All I'm trying to say too is that the most important position in football is the quarterback. Russell Wilson is far and away better this year than Kenny Pickett is. That's why I'm saying Denver's a better squad. They got a better. I
Trash.
mean, coaching I think equals out. Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, 2 very evenly matched coaches.
Okay. All right.
But
you have an opinion about it. Got it.
And one
Yeah.
of them is with a franchise that's used to being
Mhm.
there. The other one's Denver.
Denver's kind of used to being there too. They have a
Denver's one of the most winningest franchises in the league.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, man, they got a
Yeah.
history of being there too.
Yes, they do.
But anyway, let's talk about this matchup. Pedestrian week a little bit for Tua. Still throws for 300, couple touchdowns, an interception. You usually see more out of him, but he still gets it done. Derrick Henry did his best disappearing act. And there's a stat with Tennessee, by the way. When they give Derrick Henry 20-plus touches, okay,
Mhm.
their win rate is through the roof. When
Mhm.
he has 15 or less, they're constant. And part of that's game script. I get it.
Yeah,
also-
like, consider the situation. Every time they go down by 20, they're not giving the ball to Derrick Henry 20 times. They're going to lose that game, even if they give the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times.
I get it, but you still got to find ways to get the ball into his hands more. I mean, it's him and Hopkins. That's what you got on offense. So, Tyjae Spears is good, sure, but Derrick Henry is still the man down there, and you got to get him the ball a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. And it's the time of year for the Yeti, man. Get him the ball.
Mhm.
I mean, you're playing in Jacksonville, so it's not really, but
It's Yeti season. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's Yeti season. It's when he comes alive. We talked about it every week.
Brian Robinson having a great campaign. Keep doing the dang thing. He's been playing great
Amazing
all year long.
campaign.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. I mean, nothing but love for that guy. Love watching him play. Oh yeah, and the trade raping that happened with 20-point Gus Edwards. Yeah, so bad that Austin got those 10 touchdowns on his team. Really terrible.
Yeah,
what I
you really
did.
fucked that up. You
I
really
mean,
Yeah,
fucked that
really.
up.
as good as Derrick Henry's been, he's the running back 15, but Austin's got the running back 4 and the running back 6 as well.
Yeah, I totally raped him by giving him the running back 6.
You
Oh,
fucked
God,
up,
let it go.
You big piece
I
of
will
shit.
let it go. I will
He's
not
mad
let
if
it go.
he's right. He's mad if he's wrong.
That's right.
Pessimistic
But he's
all the time.
always in the race.
Always
That's
in the
right.
race.
Always in the race.
Buffalo killed the Jets.
Yeah, they did.
Nothing more to say there. They were mad about what happened to them in week 1. Clearly,
They were so mad that Zach Wilson lost his job.
I think they were more mad about last week's loss to Denver.
I
I'd
think
be
it was a
equally mad.
combination.
Yeah, they look well. Oh, God, they just look like shit this year.
Yep.
It's
Josh Allen leading the league
injuries.
in interceptions almost
Yeah.
every year that he plays now.
Mhm.
Their whole freaking defense is on the IR, man. Like
They need Brian Dable back.
Brad Daboll might want to be back.
Yeah, he might.
He's having nightmares about being in New York,
Mhm.
dealing with the shit situation he put together out there. But anyway, I don't know what they were doing in the draft. Like all the hope that they have, and then they bring like 20 slot wide receivers onto their team, and they don't have anybody big that can play on the outside. Like, what are you doing? You know. Anyway, Austin gets a win, big for him. Austin might be in the playoffs this year.
Might be.
You know,
He's got.
Um,
He's
might
I'm the 6th seed. Patrick's the 7th seed, and Austin's the 8th seed. If it ended today.
Dang.
the big thing that helped me this week is Luis going down.
Yep.
And me knocking Strozy down a peg. I need Todd. I need you, and I need Todd, and I need Jacoby to lose next week. So I got to beat you, and then I need those two to lose.
Which
So
two do you
anything-
need to
Enough.
lose?
Let's do some matchups.
Yep,
You need Todd and
Jacoby.
Jacoby to lose.
Jacoby, Todd, and then I got to beat Jake. So
So he's
yeah,
fucked.
I mean we're all right. So
he's fucked.
let's get on to the matchups for week 12. It's Turkey week. We get a great week of football. We get Thursday, we get Friday, you got college on Saturday, you get Sunday, you get Monday. There's only 2 days this week where we don't have football. You gotta love it. It's a good
It's
time,
true.
man.
It's gonna be good.
We do
I
like
love
it.
the Black Friday thing. Keep it going, NFL. Black Friday football is fun. Keep it going.
Yeah, we're gonna have football on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yep. Good
Mhm.
times.
It'll be good.
So let's break down me and you to start with.
No, that one's got to be last. That
wanna do
one's
that one last?
that one's the juiciest burger. We gotta
Okay.
wait.
All right. Let's do Erica and Todd.
Let's do Erica and Todd.
Big
Um,
implications. Big implications here because Erica could still lose the last 2 weeks and get that bye poached by either myself or Strozy. So she needs to lock up something. And Todd's making a push.
Oof.
I think she's gotta run Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley out there against Houston. She's got to do that.
Yeah,
think
you
you're
can't.
right.
You
I
cannot
think
play
you're
Sam
right.
Howell versus Dallas.
No, they're gonna make him look like Tommy DeVito.
And I think this might be a week where she's probably got to throw Raheem Mostert if he's healthy enough in there against
No. Not against the Jets. I think you put
No.
Calvin Ridley in that spot.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then run
I mean,
Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I want
maybe not.
players. No, I want players playing against the Chargers. Keep Keenan
That's
Mitchell.
true. That's true. She has a lot of tough decisions because there's a lot of guys here that like
Jamar
Josh
Chase has
Downs is
gotta
coming
go
back.
somewhere.
Jamar Chase probably needs to be in against Pittsburgh though. I mean, they don't have a good
Fuck
secondary.
yeah.
Man. You know,
It's gonna be a nail biter. What
You
does
can't-
Todd got going on?
You can't bench Jamar Chase ever. You either unless he's like questionable to play,
comes
he
a-
might not.
There comes a time.
I think the only
Well-
time, if I'm going to put one time on the list, is when you got a
Mhm.
backup quarterback and you're in San Francisco. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Other than
Todd is
that, you
gonna-
either trade him or you die with that ship.
Okay.
Todd's gonna get saved this week by the return of Kyron Williams against Arizona. Is what's gonna happen because
Yeah, because
Achane-
Achan's not gonna play.
Yeah. Well, he might not play, and if he does
Not
play,
gonna play.
it's on the Jets. So,
Yeah.
James Cook has got the Eagles. You don't like that.
Uh-uh.
I think Jalen Hurts is probably going to light Buffalo on fire, and it kind of just depends on who gets it there. If it's AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, in terms of Todd's fate.
Man, what do you think? What do you think Cleveland's gonna do to Denver?
It's an interesting game, man.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very interesting game.
Because
That
like they can
game's
turn
gonna
Russell
look like
Wilson
the-
into a fucking pumpkin.
It's going to
Maybe.
be 14-13.
Maybe.
That's going to be the score of that
You
game.
think so?
I don't even want to watch it.
Well,
Mhm.
but the thing is too,
I do.
Gardner Minshew hung 35 points on Cleveland. You know what I mean? It's not like Cleveland is incapable of giving it up. Like, it'll be interesting to see what happens
The
there.
games where Cleveland gives it up a lot are the games where they have no offense and they're on the field all the time, which happens. So it's possible.
But that game, they had a ton of offense. It was 35-33. That was a shootout, man. That was
Accurate.
like one of the last times that we saw Cleveland really get kind of and like they still played great on defense in that game. That was the game where Myles Garrett jumped over the line, blocked the field goal, got a safety. Like, they did a ton of things on defense, but
I
they still
love
gave up
Myles
35
Garrett.
points.
Appreciate that. Appreciation hour. Let's go.
Yeah. I gotta go. I mean, I'm gonna go with my heart here and go with Erica because we love her. And I want her to win. I need that win.
I'm looking at these matchups, and I think Erica's gonna win. I do. I really think Erica's gonna win. I think it's gonna be weird numbers from some key players on Todd's squad, and we're gonna see Erica pull one off.
To me, this one's on a knife's edge. It could go either way. They both have some weird matchups. So
they do.
I think I'm going Todd. I'm gonna go Todd.
All right.
Todd.
Let's move on to Cody and Brent.
Let's take a look at.
Yeah, I mean, Philly does give it up on defense in the passing game. And Buffalo is playing Buffalo's got their back against the wall. You might see them come out and have a good game. We'll see. I don't know if I'd be throwing Gabe Davis out there again if I was Brent. You got to find a way to not do that. I think it's Chris.
You put Chris Olave in there.
You got to find a way to not play Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, Brent's gonna have his dogs back out there. He's gonna have Josh Allen. I bet Bill Belichick figures out a way to not have Saquon score 30 on him though.
Is he going to run with a 2 tight end set? Because he's got Jake Ferguson and Dalton Kincaid slated to start right now. Because he's going to put Bijan in for Chris Rodriguez, obviously. He's going to put Chris Olave in probably at Gabe Davis, and then it's between a second tight end or Gabe Davis for your flex spot. Which one would you guys do?
I would go Jake Ferguson at this point. Get the points. You're going to get something.
But you're going against the top person in the league, score-wise, last week and record. So you need that 18 from Gabe Davis as opposed to the 7.
Probably got to take chances. Yeah.
Your ship's already taking on water. You know what I mean?
It's true. But Gabe Davis could be the torpedo that completely destroys the entire ship. You know what I mean? Or
it could be the flotation device that brings you back to the surface.
He's capable of scoring 40. We've seen him do it before.
Well, here's the thing.
Jake Ferguson isn't. Go ahead.
He needs 1% sort of things to happen, right? Yep. There ain't no safe play. This is Gabe Davis territory. This is Gabe Davis territory.
Yep. I'm picking the butthole records on this one.
Well, what's interesting about this matchup too, and is a little bit of an advantage for Brant actually, is that no, it is because
hold on, I just gotta.
Cody's got half his lineup planned on Thursday, so Brant is going to kind of know what he's up against to make that call. Because you're going to have Dak, you're going to have Amon-Ra, Logan Thomas, if you play Logan Thomas, which I assume you probably are, and Dallas all playing on Thursday. So Brant will have a little bit of information there to go with to help him decide. So, which is always helpful, if you can kind of have the right plan.
Kind of. Only in the sake that Jake Ferguson, one of those guys that's on the carousel for him, also plays Thursday. So you'd be looking at putting Dalton Kincaid in there, and then do you just go and start Ferguson and then maybe use Kincaid in the flex spot?
That's tough.
If he's going to play Ferguson, he's got to play him in the tight end spot so that he has flexibility. I always do that, folks. Everybody should know that by now. If you got a player playing earlier on, you put him in the positional spot so you give yourself the most ability.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, because your flex spot is your Swiss Army knife, so don't block it.
Yep, exactly.
You keep your knights on the board.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to go Brent just because I want Cody to lose. So
I get it.
All right, what's the next one?
Did you guys pick?
Yeah, we did. And we didn't pick stupidly like you did. So
well, I always pick stupidly. Let's keep moving.
Good. I'm glad we have the acknowledgement. Jesus,
I pick with my heart, not with my mind.
It took 11 weeks for you to admit that you're stupid.
I pick with my heart when we do this, not my mind. Let's keep it moving.
Excellent.
Trish versus Allen.
Trish.
There's
Trish.
two teams. I guess Allen's 4-7, but it just feels like they have
Trish.
the same team.
Yep, Trish.
Allen does not have great matchups this week. He's got Gino against San Fran. The Bears' backfield is a complete mess, even though Khalil Herbert looks to be like he's the lead back again somehow.
Somehow.
He's
But
got
Russell Wilson's going against Cleveland. Kenneth Walker and Tyler Lockett are going against the 49ers on the other side.
yeah. This is a complete
I think you
all
gotta find someone who's not Russell Wilson to start this week if you're Trish.
Well, the Niners do give it up through the air. They don't give it up on the ground, though. That's kind of the Niners' defense. You could pass the ball on San Fran. And they also, San Fran did just lose one of their big pieces in the secondary. Hufanga is gone for the year.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I didn't realize
kind
that.
of their enforcer on the back end.
Unnoticed.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's gone for the year, if not at least to the IR. So
Okay.
I can't pick Allen's teams. I like his running backs, even with Rashad White, but he doesn't really have a quarterback. Kyler Murray, I guess, but he's got one wide receiver that's even worth a crap, and even he's like not even a wide receiver one territory.
If he
He's
wins,
got no tight end.
If he wins, it's going to be on the back of Nico Collins and Travis Etienne being part of a shootout in that game. That's what I would say. Houston and Jacksonville, which could easily turn into a shootout.
I'm going with Trish.
Yeah, I'll pick Trish too.
Okay. Moving on.
Let's go Austin and the average Jakes.
Ooh.
This is a very spicy matchup with implications as well. Here's one big benefit on Austin's side. Derrick Henry gets Carolina. That could be a 200-yard Derrick Henry game.
but Tua's going against the Jets.
I mean, that's true, but
and Brian Robinson's going against Dallas.
Ooh.
Gus Edwards gets Chargers though.
Christian Kirk gets Houston.
He doesn't have to play.
Buffalo defense against
Robinson.
Philly.
He doesn't have to play Brian Robinson.
What kind of matchups does Strozzi got? He's got Waddle against the Jets. He's got his kicker against the Jets. Nothing else really stands out. He's got some good matchups.
Strozzi.
Yeah, I think
Strozzi on matchups.
Kind of depends on what happens in the Lions game against Green Bay a little bit.
I think
this is one of
what happens with Najee Harris. I think it's going to come down to Najee Harris versus Derrick Henry. Who puts out?
I think the answer here is Strozzi, and that is something that you needed to happen, right? Because you need Austin going down.
I do need him going down. I kind of like. Derrick Henry's the big wild card for me this one because Derrick Henry could do one of his week
classic.
Yeah,
37-point games.
This could be the time for Mr. Henry against the worst run defense in the league.
He needs it.
He does need it, and I don't need it. But hopefully, Strozzi can figure out a way to win here. Anyway, on to the last one, on to the second to last one.
The other one that you need.
Yeah, I need this one too to go my way. Jacoby and Louise.
So many juicy matchups this week. 5-6, 6-5. That's right on the cusp.
Yep. I kind of like Luis a little bit more this one because you got Jordan Love playing Detroit, and that did not go well the first time around. Terry McLaurin's playing Dallas. You don't like that. Debo's the lost man out there. Devin Singletary is going to have to compete with Dameon Pierce again this week. Kamara's got a divisional matchup with Atlanta, who actually does have a good run defense. Thielen gets Tennessee, though, and he's going to be needed in that game, especially if Derrick Henry does what we think he's going to do.
George Kittle is a monster again. He's put up 19 points in 3 consecutive weeks, and having that Brock Purdy Kittle stack has been pretty big for Luis.
It has.
The other thing that could really benefit Luis is, one, he's getting JT back. And
that's huge.
If I lose, this is the biggest
CJ Stroud, let's go. You got to do it.
The conundrum. That's the conundrum. Is it
not
CJ Stroud or is it Purdy?
It's got to be CJ Stroud.
I think he
Gotta
goes
beat.
CJ Stroud. I think that game shoots out. I think
I think it
Jacksonville
does too.
Houston's gonna be
I think we
big.
get an exciting one from
Yep.
Houston and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I want to see that Madden matchup, honestly. I want to play one of you guys as a Jacksonville Houston setup. Like, let's
That'd
go.
be fun. That'd be fun.
It would.
Oh man.
Anyhow, Mike Evans gets Indianapolis. That's a great matchup for Luis too.
Mhm.
Bad secondary over there.
Honestly, like just based on matchups, I think I like Luis.
That's
I
what
think
I
I
do
do
too.
too.
I think I do.
Yeah.
That's everything that Patrick needs as long as he can hold up against the last matchup that we need to talk about.
Oh, well, let's talk about that, shall we?
Let's talk about that.
We have
Talk
some
about
good.
it.
Let's talk about it. It means everything.
It
Well,
does
it's
mean
fucking
everything.
nerve-wracking. I'm getting
This is
nervous
for
and
all
we're
the
days
marbles.
out.
This is a playoff matchup, boys. Do you feel it?
I know it's
This is what it's
gonna
made
be
of.
fun too.
Win and
because,
you're in, lose. You
And
drown
you don't
in the
deserve to
swamp.
be there. Uh-huh.
There can only be
So,
one.
From my standpoint,
I'm
the
talking to a
highlights,
dead man. I just don't know which one it is.
the highlights that I like from my standpoint. Okay, I like that Lamar gets the Chargers. Okay, I like
Mhm.
that. I just
That's
hope we
huge.
don't get a 3-touchdown Gus Edwards game. You know what I mean?
You could.
I don't want that.
I'd be cool with that.
David Montgomery against Green Bay, you like that. Tony Pollard
that.
against Washington, you like that.
You
I
like
like
that.
that.
Stephon Diggs against Philadelphia, not a terrible matchup either.
You kind of
DK
like that.
against- Yeah, DK against San Fran, also not bad. The bad one for me is Tyreek. That's like a neutral one, slightly leaning
The
towards
big baddie, though, is the one. And it's
Well,
a one. It's a
Tyreek-
big one.
Yeah, Tyreek against Sauce, man. It's my
The
week's
number
gonna
one
come down to that
receiver
matchup.
in all the land. Getting
It's
his
gonna come
toughest
down to that.
matchup.
Absolutely.
For all the marbles, is Tyreek foolproof? That is what will decide if Patrick is in the playoffs. That one trade that he made will decide if he can continue on.
It'll be fun, man.
The
can't wait.
tension.
Man, if he puts up a 5-burger, I'm gonna be so happy.
Well, my question is, man, you got Cortland Sutton against Cleveland. You don't like that.
You don't like
You
that?
got D Hop
It's
against
fine.
Carolina, and it could be a Derrick Henry game. We're hoping for the Henry.
I
game.
like anyone against Carolina. I'm not gonna take that away.
That's true.
Brandon
The back-
Ayuk's the lineup lock. Cooper Cup might not make it.
Cooper Cup ain't
Eckler's-
in there.
Eckler's got to play Baltimore. That's not.
You
good.
don't like that. You don't like that, but
No.
you do like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce playing the Raiders.
You do like that.
You like
true.
that?
A whole lot.
You like that?
like that.
And I like having Brees Hall versus Miami.
Yeah. But that game could go upside down on him, and Brees
could.
Hall
It
can't
could.
switch it out. You
Could.
know.
And if
So-
that game does go upside down on him, then that means Tyreek has already buried him.
You say upside down on him. I mean, I think he had like how many rushing yards this last week? Only 23, but he still got 16 points because they use him in the
True.
passing game too.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. Ooh, this
hoping
matchup
that-
is so juicy.
Honestly, I think it's very evenly matched between the matchups this week. We both
I'm
have.
so
good ones.
glad you don't have Mark Andrews because I think that would have been the difference with the matchups. I think you probably had a slight edge, but it's a kind of a coin flip right now.
Interesting.
Really fucking.
You know,
sad.
I just realized that I have to make a call here.
I mean,
And
I already beat Patrick once this year, so like I've
Relax.
keep it in mind, he says.
done it.
One of my worst weeks of the year.
I'll tell you right now. I've seen
Yeah,
too
but you
many.
did it.
I've seen too
My
many
players, yeah,
bad
so-
moves. I've seen too many bad moves. And Patrick, I think your season's coming to an end, brother.
No.
I think it
Not
is.
gonna happen.
I think it's
I'm
coming to an end.
gonna do what Jake did to the league last year. I'm gonna slide in. I'm gonna smoke all you fools in the playoffs.
When you
No,
wake
you
up,
can't do that because that's my plan still.
no, that's
Yeah.
my plan. What if we both made it? That'd be fun.
Patrick.
Everybody else
there
drops out?
is still a chance since I have a 1-game lead on you. There is a chance
Ooh,
that if you win this one, since you got the point lead, you would leapfrog me. I don't know how the other ones would play out, but you need to win this one, and I could still potentially sneak in the last week. But
and then
I
you're
would,
the one hoping for Jacoby and Austin to lose.
but I would probably need some help. I don't think that'd be fully in control if I lose this week.
At the
Ooh.
very least, I need to put up some good points because we at least want the jersey, if nothing else. Like, come on. You know?
Yeah, you live in the world of silver linings, so like consolation prize is right up your alley.
That's right. So, and you know what? I've already been looking at them, man. There's a few that I got my
You've
eye.
already been looking at them. You
I've
got an
been
whole
looking
off
at-
season to get them.
I've
That's,
been looking
the
at them,
universe is
man.
going to punish that.
There's some nice ones. Gonna be right up in here.
Dang.
But anyway, it probably won't make it in this house actually because we're about to move here in about 4 months. So, but anyway, we kind of did it, guys. A lot on the line this week. It's
Love
I
Trade,
kinda love
trade
how
deadline.
it is.
Trade deadline is the 29th. So we
Take advantage of those trades, people.
It is
Give me more firepower.
It is
Do it.
9:00 in the morning
Number one.
next week, Wednesday. That is your trade deadline.
Yeah. Will we see some fireworks before the deadline? It'll be
Nah, I think it's set in. I think there's a concrete mold taking hold, and this is what the teams are going to look like.
might be, man. I don't know. I got some plans. We'll see what's up.
You
You
got
ain't-
something in the work, Patrick's?
No, don't worry about it.
Patrick's, I called him.
The Patrick's.
You're not,
there's
you're not
multiple.
trying to get Derrick Henry from Austin, are you?
Well, I mean, I would be a fool to give away my hand, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah,
You're a
I
fool.
mean,
You're a fool.
You
Anyway.
would be a fool if you hadn't already given me your hand.
Well, he's not going to give him to me this week anyway. He knows they're playing. He's playing Carolina. It's not going to happen.
Mhm.
So I might get him next week. We'll see. But anyway, if he doesn't do what we think he's going to do this week, I might be able to get him next week. But it might not matter if I lose. So
Dude, he puts up 30 this week. You're probably not getting him at all.
yeah, I know. That's what I mean. So hopefully he puts up like 12 and then I can get him. But anyway, anyhow, I made him a good offer. We'll see what happens.
What'd you offer him?
I'm not going to tell you.
Come on.
I got to give you ideas.
I'm not.
I already gave you too much telling you that I was talking about him.
I'm set in stone, man. You ain't gotta worry about me.
Yeah, you're set in stone. Sure. Yeah, bullshit. Anyway, that's it, guys. Jake, hopefully you're looking good on time. And you can get over to your thing. Fun week, folks. Give it your all. Keep playing hard. Everybody, keep playing your lineups. Like, doesn't matter where you're at. Have fun. Nobody wants to be the turd in the bottom of the bowl. So if nothing else, play for that.
Yeah, Alan.
I mean, and hey, we're not gonna have any crybabies this year. Not doing the punishment. That shit's over. So
We'll see.
It's happening. I don't care. You're either doing it or it's immediate.
If you don't do it, we're showing up with boiled tomatoes, and we're gonna hit you in the parking lot.
We're
So
showing up
you
with
don't want it.
rocks. We're showing up with rocks, and we'll literally
Boiling tomatoes. How about that?
No. Fuck it.
Actively
Take it up
hot.
a notch. Take it up a notch. We're gonna show up with rocks, and we're gonna kill you. So those are the stakes. We were gonna literally stone you, medieval style, folks. We're taking it back to
geez.
BC.
Let's do it.
All right, kids. We're out of here.
We did it.
Thank
Good
you.
night and good riddance.
Bye.